Hey Virgo, I'm Empress Rose. Welcome to your reading. These are our general readings, so we take what works, we leave what doesn't, as with everything in life. And if I don't catch your wavelength here, check your other major placements. We're starting with the monster deck, the Moonology and Work Your Light cards. For an intuitive vibe of where we're going here. I just got like a pamphlet popping out here. Anything else? One last? No. That's too many. I was going to say we don't have all day, but we do have all day, but it's also night. Anyway. Oh my goodness. This is really fascinating. I don't understand. In some other totally unrelated reading earlier today, I got these two cards together then, and I don't understand what they mean at all together like that. But let's start with this beautiful new card. New romantic cycle begins, new moon in Libra. So it doesn't necessarily have to be romantic. It could just be a new relationship, a new cycle in a current relationship that you have where you're going to relate in a different way. But this is a mutually beneficial relationship. It could be a team. It could be a partnership in business, but it could also be obviously a new romantic cycle begins. But it's going to involve communication. It's going to involve a sense of reciprocity with both people being aware of how to do that and how we accomplish that. And so a new cycle could be someone that's already in your life or a totally new person. I like this one, Cardinal Moon, be bold and make the first move. So that's fascinating because it could be planning out the first moves. Be bold. I like it. But it doesn't mean be rash or be reckless. It just means be bold. Like do something that gets someone's attention, especially if you want to start this new romantic cycle. You can be bold, or this new relationship. It may require you to state that you want the relationship and make the first move. Sounds very like very hitting on or something like that, but make it clear what you want. Like if you've spotted someone that you think is going to be a great partner for you in business or in life or in romance or a good friend, make some initiations, or at least think about initiating. So being bold, I don't necessarily think that means being rash or reckless. It just means making it very clear. Making a clear statement of what you would like, and being open to initiating, taking a leadership role within the relationship to move it forward. And then we have deep replenishment retreat. So it could also be thinking about how to do that. But the first move, maybe the move before the first move, or maybe the first move. I want to say chess game, but your opponent's in a chess game. But you're also not, because you're playing together. So you're both opponents, but you both agree to play. So it is like a playmate in a chess game, and you're going first here. So you're probably just going to move a pawn, but it's a very clear start. There's like games that you can play where follow the leader, right? That's what I'm getting, is sort of a follow the leader vibe, where the leader sort of shifts by but you when you're taking the leader position or the leader role in the game, it's very clear. It's like, I'm doing this now. It's almost like you're hitting the thing on the chess game, and you're like, okay, my turn. I'm gonna go. So you're gonna make your move. But it is. I was gonna say your opponents, but you're not really. Overall, you're both agreeing to play this game together, which I find fascinating. Agreeing to be opponents. I don't know that that's necessarily what's going on here, but it is an idea that has got my brain really fired up and going here. So deep replenishment, retreat, rest, be held. So seeking some healing vibes, some healing waters, going to a hot spring, a spa, like really seeking that rest, replenishment, deep replenishment, not just like, yeah, I'm going to grab a cup of coffee. So there could be some renewal coming in here, relaxation. And maybe you need to make sure that you're initiating some sort of relaxing environment. So maybe it's not a chess game. Maybe it's a checkers game, which is more about fun and relaxation. Maybe it's nothing like that. Maybe it's like a couples massage. Like you need to make a bold first move, but make sure it's like a healing bold first move. That's what I was saying, getting about, like, it's not like we're not pushing on anybody. We're making a clear first move, or a clear move in the direction that we want. And the direction that we want is some sort of healing direction, some sort of relaxing direction. We maybe aren't really looking to start a new relationship with a lot of intensity, but maybe starting a relationship with a lot of healing and relaxation, or starting a way of relating that involves a lot of healing and relaxation, and not the nerves or intensity that we normally associate with the beginning of a romantic cycle anyway. A friendship should definitely be like feeling comfortable. There's a sense of being alone here, which I find very fascinating. So maybe there's a balancing out of alone time and making sure you're coming from a place of health and relaxation, making sure that you're entering into this relationship, or your bold first move is rooted in a healing a healed psychology, and maybe you need to do some work on that. And this is what I find really very fascinating. We have be bold, make the first move. And then we have no, wait, postpone, say no. So what does that mean? Be bold and make the first move, but maybe not now. Maybe not right now, because we got the postpone. Maybe more healing needs to happen. Maybe more new replenishment needs to happen, so that you can be in a reciprocating situation. You know, we have to feel like we're ready to reciprocate and ready to be an equal partner. So I find that very fascinating. I didn't know what to make of it in the reading I had earlier today either. Be bold, make the first move, but no, wait, postpone, pause, say no. So maybe that's part of the sort of new dynamics of a relationship coming up, is where but I would want to see a boundary card here. It's not necessarily a boundary, because boundaries always imply that someone's trying to get past that. So you have to put up a boundary and be like, no, this is as far as I want you to go. So there's a negotiation, and maybe you need to say no to one of the things in the negotiation because you're not ready for that. You're not ready for that thing. Maybe there's just one aspect that needs to be refused or said no to here. But the retreat, rest, be held really waits with postpone and pause. Those things go well, but I'm having a hard time reconciling them with be bold and make the first move. So maybe that's not a mystery to you. Maybe you know exactly what needs to happen. Maybe you need to be bold and make the first move in one area of your life, and that's going to cause a pause or a break in another area of your life because you need to focus on this right now. Wait a minute. What do we mean by no? What do we mean by no? What's that? Can we get a clarifying card on no? Watch the Kuan Yin at the end of the reading. We'll like clarify everything. Is there any information about this no card here? Okay. Your commitment is being tested. Stay strong and focused. So your commitment's being tested, so some cloudy vision may be coming in here, some sort of difficulty. Oh, it could be like things are going to be a little difficult for a while. So keep the idea in mind, but take a pause. Your commitment's being tested. So you have to say no to something. Maybe it's not even this relationship or this partnership. Maybe it's you having to say no to something else in order for making that to work. Because your commitment is being tested in one way. Commitment is being tested as having to say no to the things we don't want. I think we talked about that last week, Virgo, about having to say no to the plants in your garden that you don't want to grow, that aren't part of your plan, aren't part of what you truly want, and focusing on what you truly want. And then that would require you to say no to what you don't truly want. So your commitment to something may be being tested, and that may require you to refuse something. Okay. All right, Virgo, here's your past, your present, your inner landscape, what's at issue, your environment, your to-do list, and your possible outcome. So I'm back to the Golden Tarot for a while now. I love the Santa Muerte deck, but I'm very excited to be reunited with these beautiful images and collages of medieval and Renaissance art. In the past, you were sort of in the past. 5 of Cups. Grief process that you had to go to. Oh, this is definitely where this replenishment, deep replenishment needed to come from. There's a grief process here, mourning something, being almost uncomfortable, someone trying to comfort you and you're not able to accept that. And it's not all that helpful here. But grieving what's been lost, grieving something, not really being able to yet focus on what you do have and what the future holds, not able to do that at that point in your past, but really focusing on what was lost, on your losses and not your potentials. And this is a standard grief process. What are you going to do? Have your life fall apart, have a breakup, have a difficulty, and then just like, oh, well, let's just move forward. So you've needed some deep replenishment, a time of deep replenishment. And you could be in that right now, but in the recent past, you've been very focused on all that's been lost and the pain that these losses have caused you. Inconsolable, that's right, not uncomfortable, which is a very interesting new concept on that word, I think, but inconsolable and very focused on what was lost, which is fine for a time. We don't get stuck there, but obviously we accumulate quite a few losses in this life, and it's important to honor them and to sit with them and allow those feelings to flow through. So there is a sense of flow in this, and you were sort of flowing with the losses. Things were lost, and you were really focused on that for a while. In your current situation, you have the Queen of Coins. I love how she's almost, her halo is a coin. Her halo is money, but I also see it as money, time, and money. We have a lot of halos here, but again, it is Renaissance art, but this whole top deck has halos and the whole bottom deck doesn't. So we have, it could be losses of money that he was experiencing. We have a halo around our Pope here. And we have a halo, a coin, another coin halo. That's a coin halo around the Pope. So maybe money was lost. Maybe everything was lost. And then Queen of Cups here with a halo here. And then we're going to be Justice card. You got justice on the mind, maybe retribution. And you got a halo, but it's angelic retribution. You may have some sort of justice on your mind. But let's talk about this Queen of Coins here in your current situation. This could be you, or this could be somebody else in the situation who's very focused on what they want. It could be time, it could be money, very dedicated to it. She's a corporate ladder climber, or not necessarily even corporate, but very focused on career, very career oriented, focused on gains, focused on her money, what she's bringing in for herself, and focused on the process of making that money, or the process of that time, something about a time or money connection there, and someone being very focused on that, on their work possibly, on their very dedicated to their work, and very focused on where their money's coming from and how they're going to make it. So in your inner landscape, we have this Justice card. So this is your hope and your fear. Your fear could be that you did something and it's going to come back and bite you in the ass, and you're going to have to face consequences for what you did. This could also be bringing, I think you've had the Justice card a few times recently. This could also be bringing in some fairness, wanting some fairness to come in, wanting to balance some sort of scale that was left unbalanced, wanting to even things out. I like it because we have a new romantic cycle begins, but it's more of it's not romantic necessarily, but a new relationship beginning or being renewed here. And this one is balanced in reciprocity. We have the scales there, a very balanced relationship with a lot of give and take. And I'm seeing the scales here. So this could be what's on your mind, is a balanced team, a balanced, right? Where there's not one person on the team that's doing the whole team project and getting everybody an A, even the people that didn't even show up for the fucking team meeting. They get an A too because they had you on their team. So it could be that, like hoping for a team where there's actually some teamwork here going on here, instead of you doing everything, or instead of somebody else doing everything. Or maybe you realize that you haven't been a good team member and it's time for you to balance the scales, and it's time for you to take some action in balancing out some sort of injustice that happened. So that could be on your mind. You could be thinking also of retribution, getting somebody back, balancing the scale, wanting to get revenge on somebody, wanting to come in as the justice. I prefer personally to leave a lot of my justice to karma, because, and I've learned just to not stand in front of other people's karma buses. Like, if this bus is going to hit you, I'm not standing in front of it for you, because I'm not going to bring it about myself, but I'm certainly not going to stop it for you. So this could be wanting some reciprocity, or wanting some balance to come, or wanting this new friendship or new relationship or new team to be a lot more balanced. So I think it's just interesting that we have the scales coming in here too. That's on your mind, is balance, fairness, being fair. Maybe someone wasn't fair to you, and this is what happened here, is this loss. Someone wasn't fair to you, and you would really like that. Or maybe you weren't fair to somebody else, perhaps while you were in this process, because this it can be very hard to be in this grief process and be also focused on what other people need and how other people feel, right? So you may have been unfair to somebody, or someone was unfair to you, and you would really like to balance that out, either, or you could be contemplating taking someone to court too and engaging with the justice system. What's at issue here is temperance. Oh dear. Temperance in the reverse. So things that could be blended that are not blending very well. She makes everything a lot more palatable, a lot easier to deal with. She's got, your cups that you have left, she's pouring them back and forth, making them, it just reminds me of how in like the 17th century the 18th century people would, well, probably the 17th. It's been going on a long time. You make the alcohol, and the alcohol kills the germs, but we don't need everybody drunk all the time, so you mix it with some water that would be gross and diseased all by itself, but you mix it with the alcohol, and alcohol doesn't get people quite as drunk, and the water doesn't make people, give people dysentery. So it's kind of a win-win. So that's a little bit of what temperance is doing here. She's mixing something, making it more palatable, easier to drink, and less dangerous. But there's something here that's not being mixed. I mean, it takes a lot of patience. So there could be a lack of patience that's going on here. It takes a lot of patience to get this sort of mix going. There is some divine intervention or something. So maybe there's not been the divine guidance that you would have hoped to see in some sort of process that you were wishing for. Maybe you were wishing for some karma to come in, right? And now you're thinking about, well, if karma didn't bite them, maybe I should bite them, but in a way where I don't get sick and nobody gets sick. But so there's something that was supposed to be blended, or supposed to be, or you thought it was supposed to be. It would just be nice if it was a lot easier to deal with, but it's almost like it's still too hot to handle. It's still too difficult. There hasn't been the mellowing out that you were expecting, or that was expected from this situation. Nobody's mellowed out yet. Oh, this could be where this deep replenishment and pause and say no could be coming in, is that something needs to be mellowed still, and it hasn't. we've still got our simple syrup and our liquor, and they haven't been mixed. She's my drink maker, right? And so they haven't been mixed, and they just nobody wants to drink either one straight. So something's a little too extreme still, or the feelings are too intense still. And then what we have in the environment is the Lovers. So of course, this is hard to ignore, even though I might like to. This is hard to ignore, that a new romantic relationship, a new romantic cycle begins, and we have the Lovers here. I mean, just the name of the card. There's other meanings to this card, but it is interesting that it comes with a new romantic cycle, that same card. And it's coming under this loss. So it looks like there was a loss here, but now choices need to be made. And they're choices between typically something that's logical and something that makes a lot of sense, and something that our heart wants to do, which feels really different and weird and nonsensical, because the heart's a crazy ass motherfucker. It doesn't understand reality. It doesn't understand the parameters of reality. It doesn't understand any of it, and it really doesn't care. But so there could be a choice. So the Lovers typically, to me, represents a choice in your environment. Your environment's asking you to choose. Look at all this, like, these helpers here. Here's someone trying to console you. I feel like you are the Pope there. And here's God supposed to be coming in with a message, a mellowing message, to make this all a lot easier. It's not easier. It's not becoming easier with time, which I find interesting, especially with this postpone thing. It's not becoming, that's what that reverse Temperance card is. It's not becoming easier with time. We expected it to become easier and mellowed out, and it's not. And this decision looms here. Are you going to go with your heart? Are you going to do, be bold and make the first move? Being bold, going with your heart, and going with any decision, career, relationship, whatever, where there's like an element of like, that doesn't even make sense. How will I explain this? How will I do this? When, going into the arts, because nobody understands that, why even anybody does it. It's full of risk and difficulty and trials and tribulations, and the possibility for success seems so small. But you still do it anyway because your heart calls you to, your intuition calls you to. Or do you go with a safety career? But your safety career can blow too. So there's no guarantees either way. So you have to, to me is about a choice, a decision to follow your heart, or follow the rules, or follow the structure that has been set up for you, or that you set up for your life. It may be the choice of moving on or staying there. It may seem logical to you to stay in this grief process, but you could be your heart could be calling you forward, even though you might not feel like that makes sense to you, or that that's going to be worthwhile, which is a weird attitude to start a new cycle with, a new romantic cycle with, or a new relationship with, or some beginning with somebody else. But it's not gotten easier with time. So time isn't the key. Time isn't healing all wounds here. Something else needs to happen. I think a decision needs to be made, because time isn't actually healing the wound. You still got maybe revenge or fairness or something on your mind, and it's not healing all wounds here. So there's a decision that needs to be made, and it may seem a little illogical to you. Your to-do list is 7 of coins. Okay, so this is supporting the retreat, rest, be held, postpone, pause vibe that we have going here, even though we're also starting a new cycle. Maybe it's like when you're early on in your pregnancy, you're tired and you need to rest because your body's like adjusting to something totally new. So that's where that deep rest and replenishment and pause and postpone could be coming from, is that, when we're involved in something so challenging, we need to carve out time for that. Because we're also getting the 7 of coins. This is, I've put the work in and now I wait. I've done a lot of work. I've made a lot of decisions. So something in your environment either made the decision for you or asked you to make a decision. And here you're having patience. You're waiting. Your heart kind of, if it's ready to go forward, but there's a part of you that's like, when is this fruit going to be ready? It's sitting right underneath this Queen of Coins. So you may have made an investment, or somebody made an investment in something, and you're waiting for the return on that investment. Maybe an investment into your career. It's very interesting because there's the Lovers, the Cups, the romantic cycle, and then also this coins of time and money. This could be pausing work, pausing a work focus, pausing a career focus to do for something else. That could be what the pause is that needs to go on pause for a minute. Or it could be just like you've made this investment and now you just basically have to wait. So your to-do list is kind of like wait for something to ripen, wait for something. Are you waiting for something to get easier? Because this card is saying it might not be getting easier. Maybe waiting for the harvest, right? Be bold and make the first move, but you got to wait a little bit first because it's not ripe yet. The work, the thing that you've grown, the thing that you've developed. What are you going to do, Cat? Hasn't ripened yet. So I'm very impressed that you just navigated that whole thing without dumping anything over. So I'm talking to my cat when I said that, not you. Although, yeah, right. Maybe you had some things dump over, so I'm very impressed at what you didn't dump over or what didn't get dumped over. Okay, so the 7 of Coins is about waiting for something to ripen, waiting for the time to be right. And maybe even thinking about what you're going to do, how you're going to move towards someone or initiate a relationship or start a relationship or start something with somebody, a team. Thinking about that, but also having to wait till the time is right. So that's your to-do list: is wait till the fruit ripens, wait till your investment ripens or something. I mean, this really is your commitment's is being tested, right? Like you grew this stuff. Now are you willing to patiently wait for it to come to fruition? Or now are you willing to patiently wait for the time to harvest? But you got to wait because those fruits harvest at their own time. You know, no one can make that happen. So it is reminding me of the plum tree that my landlady and I were waiting to harvest. It was at the end of her driveway. We were waiting to harvest it till the plums were just perfect. We had all sorts of ideas of what we were gonna. She was an old lady and we got along very well. And so we had all these ideas about what we were gonna do. We were gonna do some canning maybe, and we were gonna do some drying, and we had everything ready and we were waiting for them to be perfect. And our schedules to be lined up. So then we decided on the day and we went to the end of the driveway and someone had picked them all the night before, probably thinking we weren't going to use them. So I'm glad that someone wanted to use them and they got used. But no, I'm not saying the story because I'm saying that yeah, what was the point of that story? So it was like, we were waiting for the fruit to be ripened. It didn't work out, but we were waiting, and that's what you're doing, is you're waiting for the fruit to be ripened. I think it is going to work out, but you have to wait for something to happen, for it to be ready. And maybe even, you know, you're getting your canning supplies ready, metaphorically, and all of that ready until the time is right. And then where you're going is the Hierophant. This could be dealing with religious ceremonies. This could be dealing with spirituality. There's a sense of faith here. This is interesting. You get 2 cards about institutions. The legal institution is what this Justice card could be thinking about, courthouse stuff, and then we have the Hierophant sitting right underneath it, which could be talking about church type activities, going to a church of some kind. So both of those are the only cards in the deck that really represent our, major public institutions here. So, and the Hierophant is a man of faith. It's so interesting to me because I don't usually associate that with church or cathedrals or anything like that. And he's looking at those fruits. He too is wondering when those fruits are going to ripen. So maybe it's just continued faith is what the possible outcome is. Or maybe you got to go to church for some reason. Opening up esoteric knowledge. A leadership role here, possibly. Again, that would be bold and make the first move. Might mean that too. A leadership role. Because there are people looking to him for answers. But again, look at that. we start with the Five of Cups, and we end with also a Pope here in the Hierophant. But he's more of a master. Here you're dejected, and here he's the leader, and he's more of a master of the whole situation and in charge. All right, flying out here. Oh my gosh, could we have gotten a better card for this? Winter, resting, waiting, keeping it simple. Your mind may convince you that manifesting your destiny is more difficult or complex than it needs to be. That's what I feel like this card is. Your commitment is being tested. Difficulties coming in. And also this reverse temperance, something that should be easy, that you think should be easier. Yet the guidance of the Divine Mother is to keep things simple. Do what you can do, let go of everything else. So, also there's just this winter, right? It's like a pause here. It's the, you know, even in winter though, the buds are set on the trees. So it's not like, we know spring is coming, but it's just that rest where all the plants and the earth rests for a period of time before the spring comes. So lots of rest, saying no, and waiting patiently for some kind of opening, the time to be right, because it's not right yet. That's what that reverse temperance is about. The time isn't right yet. So, all right. So, all right. Hope you have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for your likes, subscribes, and comments, Virgo. I really appreciate it.